Hello and welcome to A Mindful Moment. I'm Justin Epstein, author of the top-selling book, Super You, and minister of the Unity Center of New York City. We're continuing our study of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and we're looking at Chapter 1, and I wanted to share with you a quote and some thoughts from page 13. This book is in the format of question and answer. So he's continuing to answer a question here. It says, note, the mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes very destructive. To put it more accurately, it is not so much that you use your mind wrongly, you usually don't use it at all. It uses you. Wow. This is the disease. You believe that you are your mind. This is the delusion. The instrument has taken you over. Wow. Are you aware that you're not your mind? Because that's the problem that we run into. Most people aren't aware that they're not their mind. And so consequently, the mind runs a lot of the show. So let's see what, now the questioner has a little disagreement. I don't quite agree. It is true that I do a lot of aimless thinking, like most people, but I can still choose to use my mind to get and accomplish things, and I do that all the time. Tolle answers, just because you can solve a crossword puzzle or build an atom bomb doesn't mean that you use your mind. Just as dogs love to chew bones, the mind loves to get its teeth into problems. That's why it does crossword puzzles and builds atom bombs. You have no interest in either. Let me ask you this. Can you be free of your mind whenever you want to? Have you found the off button? I think that's very interesting too, isn't it? That the mind just likes to find problems. It looks for problems. It wants to solve stuff. And it's not that we are necessarily the one who is beyond the mind is causing the show to happen. Our mind is constantly driving us. That's what he's saying. Let's see what else he says. So the questioner says, you mean stop thinking altogether? No, I can't, except maybe for a moment or two. Tolle says, then the mind is using you. You are unconsciously identified with it, so you don't even know that you're its slave. It's almost as if you were possessed without knowing it. And so you take the possessing entity to be yourself. The beginning of freedom is the realization that you are not the possessing entity, the thinker. Knowing this enables you to observe the entity. The moment you start watching the thinker, a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. You then begin to realize that there is a vast realm of intelligence beyond thought, that thought is only a tiny aspect of that intelligence. You also realize that all the things that truly matter, beauty, love, creativity, joy, inner peace, arise from beyond the mind. You begin to awaken. That's some powerful stuff. That we're often possessed by our mind. That thing is constantly thinking. It's constantly wanting to solve problems. It's constantly analyzing and doing all this kind of stuff. And because we often identify with the mind, we think that's us. And because we think that's us, we're not able to stand back and observe the mind. When we observe the thinking going on, when we observe the mind as if it's something different, separate from us, because it is. You and I are spiritual beings. We are universal consciousness expressing as us. We're not all this thinking going on up here. The mind can be a tool, an effective tool, but it can also drive us crazy if we're not in that sort of watching the thinker mode. Make sense? So we don't want to be possessed by the mind. We want to cast out that possessed mind, and we want to be more in that watchful state. And we're going to talk about this in our next episode of A Mindful Moment. So thanks for taking a time out now to just think about the thinking mind from more of an observer place, so that we can be free of that possessed mind and be more in the awareness of that intelligence, that joy, that peace, that power that underlies this thinking mind. That is our true nature and our true source. I'll see you next time for another mindful moment. Thank you for joining me for a mindful moment. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more mindful moments as they go live. Click above for a list of previous mindful moments to enjoy on your own time, anytime.